When Shane Kissed Blaine by Jacob Pelly. When Shane kissed Blaine, sparks went off in his brain. He thought it was so exotic, kissing a guy in Hot Topic. But little did Shane know, Blaine wanted more. He bent him over the glass and fucked his ass. Fuck. Shane roared like he never roared before, and then came on the floor. Blaine said, "Wow, that's a lot of cum. Do you mind if I suck it up?" Blaine sucked and sucked until there was no more. He spit in Shane's face and called him a whore. Shane went home and cried in the shower. All he could think about was Blaine's power. The ground was stained. Blood poured out of Shane, and that's how Shane fell in love with Blaine. Shane got out of the shower and thought about when he was born. It was a result of a BBC porn. His mother shouted and screamed, "That boy's got a lump instead of a snout." Yes, you guessed it, Shane was disformed. He was the ugliest baby ever born. Shane was picked on in school, not for his face, but for his drool. He had an extra chromosome. He thought he was cool. It gave him a smile, and everyone knew Shane was a special child. He'd always yell, "I gotta poo." But that's what happens when your mom smokes crack instead of eats food. Shane argued in class. Men ass was the best, so the kids picked on him daily. But that didn't stop Shane from telling the boys he would suck their cock. It didn't help that Shane thought guys fucking was beautiful. It didn't help that Shane thought guys fucking is beautiful, but that's what happens when your great uncle tongue punches you. Shane's first memory was his uncle fucking him, but let's not get into that. Shane got sent home from school for declaring he'd fuck every guy in this room. Shane's dad would beat his ass. He'd yell, "Stop being a fag." Shane would grab a flaccid object and gag. He'd pull down his pants and shove that in between his legs. But now, back to real time. Shane sat on his couch, wondering about his high school experience. Shane thought girls were gross into his late teens until he experimented with the dean. Shane's first love. Dean was a sit-in helper in his class. All day, Shane would stare at his ass. He'd get too close to Dean, trying to whisper in his ear, "I'd fuck you." He'd say so loud, his teachers would hear. Dean would laugh, but Shane knew he'd be all up in that ass very soon. One day, Dean dropped a note. "Let's meet up at this address." Shane was so excited, he decided to jerk off in the bathroom. Shane got expelled that day. To no one's surprise, he tried to cum in his eyes. He came out covered in cum, and that's when Shane's high school experience was done. Shane went to the kitchen, reminiscing about his first job, a janitor to hire. Shane loved to clean the men's bathrooms. It would get him excited, thinking about all the cocks that passed through these toilets. Big or small, he didn't care. All that mattered was that they were there. But after all, mother like son, Shane went after the big ones. He'd wait outside the door until someone went in. He would follow them. He'd look at the guy's pecker. If it was big, he'd beg them to come on his face. So you guessed it, Shane couldn't keep a job. Until he went to the mall. Janitor for hire, it said on the wall. Shane ripped the poster down with force and marched to a clerk. He demanded to speak with Janice, the lady that would hire him the job. But the clerk had no clue. Shane stormed off yelling, "That's why I like dudes." Dumb broad, he thought. Dumb broad, he thought. For a second, Shane forgot. He was a retarded 39-year-old man. He needed this job to find some meat, some piece of shit that would get him hot and weak. But that's when Shane saw Blaine for the first time. Another Down syndrome guy. Shane was so excited, so happy, he almost cried. He ran to Hot Topic yelling, "My guy!" Blaine looked over with a smile, for he knew Shane was a part of the crew. They went into the back store, talking about nothing. Both of them needed people to walk them. Shane said, "You got a nice ass." Blaine took a step back. They stared into each other's eyes, and that's when Shane kissed that guy. Now Shane's got a court date for getting fucked by a guy. Public indecency, that's the crime. Now Shane's sad, his dream job has died. Can't clean toilets and look for his next victims. So now he works the streets trying to fix them and find some guy with a weird kink funking a Down syndrome guy. Feeny.